Welcome to Uncontained, episode 141. I'm your host, Aaron Static Render, and on the show today, I speak with the host of The Bourbon Break. It's a radio show on FCC Free Radio, and you can find that every Wednesday from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Pacific Time at fccfreeradio.com. I'll have the link in the show, and if you miss the live version, there's also the podcast version you can check out on your favorite podcast player. But I met up with Xave in downtown Oakland at Drake's dealership. It's a former car dealership showroom converted into a brewery, and I believe they are known for their Denogonizer, which is an IPA that will supposedly kick your ass if you're into that type of thing. If the IPA is not your poison of choice, there's plenty of other options to choose from. Xave is a native San Franciscan, and in his own words, is a sometimes open mic comedian. He kind of has a problem of not loving the stage, but loves the creative outlet, and I'm guessing that is why he started this radio show, The Bourbon Break. In this episode, we discuss why he came up with The Bourbon Break, what his typical content is on the show, and also, of course, it's Halloween tomorrow, so we have to talk a little bit about Halloween. So if you haven't already, plug in your earbuds and join the conversation. This is how Xave lives uncontained. Xave, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for actually having me on your show a couple weeks ago.
Oh, sure. It was a fun time, man.
It was, man. So, well, what have you been up to in this short period of time since we talked last?
Not much. I probably have done one show since then. I just recorded one yesterday where I had one of my best friends, Nicole Mack, on.
Okay.
And so yeah, I've just been doing that. Been writing a lot. That's pretty much about it.
All right. So for people who didn't catch me on your show or haven't heard FCC Free Radio yet, you want to explain what your show is, what it's about, and where they can tune in and listen?
Oh, sure. So my show is called The Bourbon Break, and you can find it at FCC Free Radio, and I'm under the Wednesday umbrella, where you can find all of my previous episodes and things like that. What my show is basically is just a comedy and music podcast.
Okay.
And basically what I do is I just I have a segment of where we talk about some current events. Then I get into some music. It's usually a theme. Yesterday's theme was actually the live performance.
Okay. So did you have live musicians? Or
No, I just actually did. I just chose some selections of some of my favorite live performances. And so so I just play some at the beginning. There's a music break where it's basically like making a mini mixtape in the middle of a show.
Okay.
Yeah. And then in the very end, I do something in the tail end where I also have just kind of a joint to take you out with. So yeah, so in the midst, I basically just showcase my guests and try and have as much funny and comedic banter as possible, and just I just have it's a feel good show.
All right, sounds good, man. Sounds good. So I know for your music, you said you had a live theme the other day. When I was on, it was a hella Bay theme or all Bay theme or something like that.
Old school Bay artists.
Yeah. So how do you come up with your themes for each show? Is there?
It's just a feeling for how I'm feeling about the week. I mean, usually I try and usually it's funny. It's it sounds hella lame, but it's I just allow music to find me throughout the week.
Okay.
So I just try and discover new artists or old artists that I have or songs that I might not have heard previous to, because so basically what my show usually does is has songs that are more obscure. There's not anything that would necessarily be from top 40.
Yeah, definitely. So, I've noticed that. Or if it was top 40, it was top 40 a while ago.
Right. So I try and just have some, some joints that slap. Some joints that slap that, that are, that you necessarily wouldn't hear on a radio.
Yeah. Because I'll be honest, I did radio for 7 years. And I was pretty much force-fed my playlist, so I didn't get to choose that. It's nice to be able to do that. And also, I'm not going to lie, radio overplays shit all the time. So, back to you said you had a current events section, and that's
Yeah.
called Topics of Fuckery. All right, so
did you enjoy Topics of Fuckery?
I did. I enjoyed listening to it as I was listening to your show before I went in.
Oh, okay.
And then I also enjoyed our Topics of Fuckery.
Yeah, it was something I just tried one time, and I was like, this just makes sense. It's a good way to ease into the show for me. I don't know.
What classifies a topic of fuckery?
Just something that's just absurd. Something that's just like what, like why are we even? I mean, quite honestly, it's just like why are we even taking the time out to even acknowledge this foolishness? You know what I mean?
Okay.
Or it's just stupid shit. I don't know. Can I curse on here?
Yeah, you can curse.
I would think I would not be contained here.
No. I can't call it uncontained and be like you can be uncontained, but you can't swear.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Cool.
No. Yeah, go ahead.
Cool.
Feel free.
Thank you.
So, Topics of Fuckery is kind of like current events, almost a topic from headlines sometimes on Letterman, but sometimes with a little bit more social influence.
Yeah. No, it's just kind of like whatever. No, man, I wish I could say it was that sophisticated, but it's literally all I'm doing is just pulling some things that just interest me or just kind of, or maybe, and it's sometimes and based on my guests too, it's just something that they would be able to vibe with as well, or based on what I know of their background. It's just something that would kind of be closely related to them a little bit, or something that they would be somewhat knowledgeable of, but not really.
Okay, all right. So you, in a way, you kind of base it on your guess, so it's something that you may think they could talk on.
Right.
You don't want to be like, yeah, so how about the Queen?
Right.
It's
Right.
I really don't give a shit.
Someone who's just going to give one answer and just be like, yeah, I don't know what the fuck that is.
Okay, I got you. So, I got a question for you. Since this episode's actually being released right before Halloween.
Okay.
All right. I'll get into Halloween a little bit with you here, but are you doing anything special on your show for Halloween?
I'm recording on Halloween. Yeah, no, I guess actually, it's funny. I'm having my mom on.
You're having your mom on Halloween?
I'm having my mom on fucking Halloween.
Talk about old trick-or-treating memories.
Oh, that would be hilarious. I think you just gave me some material, bro.
Right on. So,
ideas.
Do you ever dress up for Halloween?
I do. I do, actually. And it's usually last minute, but so this year is, so it's funny. So last year I was receding hairline Stevie Wonder.
Okay. Did you get some braids and put them in back?
So I got dreads, but I pushed them all the way to the middle of my head, and just and I wore a costume that I wore when I was Bruce Leroy from Last Dragon.
Leroy. Okay, I gotcha.
I basically, kind of recycled an old costume. So my friends were like, "Well, why are you wearing a Bruce Leroy costume?" I was just like, "Well, Stevie Wonder wouldn't know what he was wearing." So that was also a part of it, and then so this year is it's funny. I'm actually being Janet Jackson from the Pleasure Principle Pleasure Principle video.
Which look is that? I don't remember.
It's just a black t-shirt and some black jeans, bro. It's not that bad. I'm not wearing something sparkly.
Gotcha. And I do like dressing up for Halloween. I haven't done it for a while.
What are you gonna do this year?
I don't know yet. I'm actually going to be camping this coming weekend, so the weekend before Halloween. I don't know exactly what the whole plan is. I think everybody goes out on that weekend anyway, so
yeah.
So I'll probably miss it. I'll be pretending I'm homeless for Halloween, camping.
Okay. That's basically what it is.
Exactly.
You're
like, dude, I know we have a perfectly good home, but let's go out into the wilderness, set up a tent.
Yeah.
And
had a rock on my back in a minute. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay, so you went as receding hairline Stevie Wonder. Now you're going as the simplified version of Janet Jackson. Are you going to shave for that, or are you going to be Janet Jackson with a beard?
That's the whole point of it.
All right.
Actually, so if they don't know, I'm actually kind of like a more robust 5'8" dude. I'm kind of a better of a chubbier 5'8", and I have a big beard. And so so I'm keeping the beard, and I'm just basically gonna butch out a Pleasure Principle costume.
Right on. Fair enough, man. Do your thing, man.
It's the irony of it. It's always it's just for Hopefully it works out.
Yeah. So I don't know, on on Halloween before, I talked about this on your show. I went as Leon Phelps, the ladies' man, one year.
That's right.
And yes, for people listening, don't worry, I did it without the blackface, but I did have an afro wig. I had to sell it somehow.
You had to do
or else
hair.
I just looked like a dude from the 70s.
You would have been a Megyn Kelly situation.
But like, I've also been most of my costumes have been something dead. I'm not gonna lie, bloody. You know, like for Halloween, you could go as like two things of the guy, either funny, or scary / creepy,
or slutty.
You know? Slutty dude costume.
Well, not for dudes, you know.
I'm saying as a dude, as a chick.
Be slutty, do you dudes?
If you want to dress slutty, dudes, go for it. But I'll say I can do two things for Halloween.
Yes,
All right, and slutty, that's every other day of the week.
Yeah, I mean, Thursday.
Yes, slutty Thursdays. Gotta love those.
And on Thursday we wear shit. Anyway, go.
But like I was like a dead mobster one year, or like then let's see, the taxi driver. You know, Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
I shaved had the mohawk. I actually before that I had like a goatee that was like down to here. I shaved that for Halloween to go as that costume.
Oh wow.
Are there any costumes, in your opinion, people should stay away from?
I mean, you just don't blackface. That's it. That's all you got to do is just don't blackface.
Okay. All right.
That's it.
I have one question, and I'll play Ask the Black Guy.
Oh, damn.
No. Like, okay, this year, like with Black Panther being out, is it going to be frowned on for white kids to go as Black Panther?
Not at all.
All right.
Not at all.
I was just curious. I wanted
to. We've been caucusing about this for about a good year. The Black Caucus has caucused about this for a year, and we've come to the realization that if the white children want to go as T'Challa, just all he has to do is just go as T'Challa without the makeup.
Yeah,
go for it. Don't put on any coloring.
No.
It's just not.
That's the way to be safe.
It's just best to be safe.
If you go as a ghost, make damn sure it looks like a ghost.
Yeah. Just throw the sheet on you. Just throw the sheet on, man. Just throw the sheet on.
That's risky as well.
Well, let me ask you then.
Right.
I had a guest on yesterday.
Ask the white guy.
Ask the white guy. So I had a guest on yesterday who her brother was the newscaster character in the Dave Chappelle show.
Okay.
And he actually put on the white makeup.
Ooh, okay. That, like,
so this in Dave Chappelle, because keep in mind, Dave Chappelle was pretty much in whiteface as well.
He did. Dave Chappelle can get away with anything, I think.
Okay.
He played the black blind Klansman
he did.
as well. So,
yes, he did.
Now, I wouldn't recommend white people going as that.
At all.
But, if it was clear that they were that character, the Chappelle character.
Yeah, it was clearly they were that Chappelle character.
If it was clear, I personally wouldn't have a problem with it, but I'm really hard to offend.
Yeah.
So, but I do see the gray area on that. I can see people being upset, being like, "Well, we can't do the blackface and stuff. Why are you painting your face white?"
Well, he was being a character who actually, so I felt like it was acceptable because he was being the character.
In a way, that's that kind of gray area, like Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder.
Yeah, same thing. That's the same.
He looked legitimately black.
Yeah,
he
thought he was black at some particular point. Like, he committed.
Yeah, he went all out. It wasn't just like bam, blackface, white hands. It was like
that boy committed. He totally committed.
But yeah, I don't know, man. My advice to somebody, if they're questionable on it on either side, stay away from it.
I mean,
especially with the way.
But some people just don't give a fuck. Like they ain't gonna question it anyway.
But orange face is okay if you want to go as Trump.
Orange face is definitely okay, but you have to put the white circles around your eyes to basically put some stank on it and make it a lot more authentico.
Yes.
If you're gonna go commit, put a cat on top of your head too.
Yeah, hopefully a live one. Orange as well. Right on. So, besides doing your radio show for Halloween, have you had any like Halloween traditions or anything?
No. It's like Halloween is just kind of like. For me, it's just kind of like Cinco de Mayo, man. It's just like it's just like Cinco de Mayo with costumes. We're just drinking and acting a fool.
Cinco de Mayo, St. Patty's Day, and
Same
Halloween.
thing. Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
Now, let's switch back to your show.
Yeah.
All right, enough of Halloween for right now, unless it comes back up. But what was it that made you decide to start up a show? What made you get into doing your show at FCC Free Radio?
Well, I had started doing writing and doing stand-up comedy.
Yeah?
And all of the comedians that I liked that were, active comedians, whatever.
Yeah.
They were all doing podcasts.
Okay.
And so I just kind of felt like, well, to basically, even in creating material or whatever, it seems like you can even create material through your podcast. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like I've created a bank of comedic material already.
Yeah,
whatever.
definitely.
Just from, things that just occur just from having, just a big conversation. But anyway, so I'm an artistic ass motherfucker in my mind, but putting it on paper is just it doesn't translate.
So is that like saying, just to clear it up in my mind, it's like I'm situationally funny, like amongst a group of people, but when I try to write to put it out, go on stage, it's harder to do? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just saying like anything artistic.
Okay.
Anything artistic, like if I painting, drawing, music, anything. I can dabble and do anything artistically, but it's always mediocre.
Yeah.
So for me, it was just basically trying to find that artistic outlet. And I knew that I could write. I knew that I wanted to keep doing something funny.
Yeah.
But I also had this love of music. So and mostly music that is just not like something like, I don't like anything that's top 40, as I've already said. So it's just so basically I just kind of wanted to make the show that I wanted to listen to.
Yeah.
And so that's basically what I created. And at the time I was in a whiskey group. Me and about 8 other brothers,
group?
we had a whiskey club.
Okay.
And I had fell in love with bourbon. And so I came up with this idea of like, having some drink. It's like it's basically what my show is. It's a night out at a bar
in a radio
with a homie.
studio.
You know what I mean?
Right on.
Listening to some good music, or just having one of your homies over at your house listening to some good music and having some drinks over, some great conversation that's usually ends with a whole lot of laughs.
Right on. Hell yeah.
So.
Has there been a show, I'm not necessarily asking for names of guests or anything like that to throw on their butts, but has there been a show where it was like where there was a struggle like that you had to like getting the conversation going, or has everything been going pretty smoothly besides my show?
Smooth. No, it's always smooth. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back or anything, but I think I'm an easy person to talk to.
Yeah, definitely.
And so, and I think that's pretty much translated on the podcast. Is just you get a sense of comfort super quickly, and the conversation just pretty much flows, and through that you get some really good material. And so I've even written some good comedic material from some of the some of the shows I've gotten. So,
and I know I actually met you on another show on FCC Free Radio.
Yeah.
What's really happening?
Right. Yeah. What up, Luke?
Yes. And I noticed at a couple points where you're like, I got material on this, and wrote some stuff down.
Who, me? I did?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Talking about the cis males and stuff like that.
Yeah. I will write at any moment. Like I'll write on my commute. I'll write. If it's in my head, I'm just and plus, man, I'm a dude. I can't remember shit.
No.
So it's not. So I gotta just throw that shit on some paper, hella quick, and see what I can do with it, and just revisit it later, because I'm never gonna remember it. Because even I've always been I can just always come back to that and see in my head, and then I don't even remember what the fuck that was.
Yeah, I know what you mean, man. I say a lot of stuff where I'm like, I wish I would have written that down.
Yeah.
A lot of times though, what happens is I say something, and the person I'm with is like, hey, you should write that down for your stand-up.
Yeah,
a lot of the times it's my girlfriend. You know, it's helpful, like, because I say a lot of shit, and it's hard for me to decipher what's funny or not sometimes.
Right.
Like what will land with somebody else.
Right.
What I say I think is funny, but what other people feel, I don't know.
Oh yeah, like, I would totally think it's funny at the time, and it's just like, yeah, it's like, well, that ain't go over well.
Yeah. Here's one of the things that I was told to write down. My girlfriend and I saw this lady pushing like a shopping cart across the street, but it was like we couldn't tell if she was going shopping because it was in the Target parking lot, or if she was homeless. And it was like, the cart was only like barely full though. So I was like, well, if she's homeless, she's like a homeless minimalist or something like that. You know, she doesn't want a whole lot of stuff weighing her cart down.
I would.
But you know, the
gotta
carts
convert
are
a
always overflowing.
Oh.
So yeah, I don't know. That was just one of the things that I was told to write down. I was like, when I said it, I was like, I'm probably gonna get a sigh when I was saying this, but nope,
You never
it was
know.
the other way around.
Fuck it, if it's funny, go with it, bro.
Hell yeah, you can't worry about the size, man.
You can't. You're just like, funny is too fucking rare, man. It's just like, if it's, I mean, as long as it's not super offensive.
There's a line.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like, I was like, yeah, I think, and that's another thing. I think motherfuckers are just too soft right now.
I thought of another. I thought of like a slogan. You know how
What?
size doesn't matter?
Yeah.
Like size don't matter. Like that's like a good
like
comic
it,
slogan. You know,
actually.
that's a hashtag.
That's
right
a
there.
good one, bro.
Yeah, I said it and it sounded just like that.
That is a good.
Size don't matter.
Size
Just do
don't
your
matter.
thing.
Size don't fucking matter. Fuck your size.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck your size. I'll keep doing my shit.
Right. Cheers
That,
to that.
that could be the name of the podcast. Size don't matter.
Size don't matter. That's man, you better go copyright that shit.
Yeah, TM on that shit. Oh man. All right, dude. All right. So I know I mentioned this while I was on your podcast, but I'll do it on mine here. Like when I heard the Bourbon Break as a title, like I was thinking before I met you, I had the preconceived notion that it was gonna be like the ladies' man, like Liam.
Oh, you know I was gonna have some silky ass show.
Yeah, Cavatier, come on in, let's have a drink.
Oh no.
Hey, it's a lady.
No, I mean my show ain't that silky. It's
No.
not.
So if you're listening for the ladies' man, not the right show.
There's no Bound Chicka Wow Wow popping on mine, man. No.
Yeah, what is love?
I mean, sometimes we will have some jams that are, slow, like silky related or silky adjacent.
Silky adjacent. There you go.
We'll talk about love.
Right on. So, how do you go about finding your guests for your show?
Most of my guests have basically just kind of been homies or gotten them through homies. I have a pretty dope group of friends, and a lot of them are, just kind of connected, and sometimes they'll just send, some people will just kind of, they'll either send someone my way or somebody will just come my way. And that's the only bad thing is that I have a hard time asking.
Yeah.
That's probably the hardest thing about this podcast is me asking people to be on because I feel like it's like asking for money.
Are these people that you're talking to like in the entertainment industry much at all?
Oh, definitely. They're either sometimes it's just like having a conversation with one of my best friends or whatever who are just basically doing things in their own industry, but not necessarily like, nothing, too star-studded or anything like that. But I have had rappers and comedians and stuff like that. So
yeah, you don't have to feel bad about asking them. Like I could see just asking your friend that doesn't really have anything to do with the entertainment industry, feeling like and nothing to promote.
Right.
Hey man, could you come on my show with me? I need a guest.
Yeah.
Can I borrow $15? But like if you ask somebody who's like a stand-up comic, a musician, an actor, or whatever, in a way you're giving them a platform. So don't feel bad about that. You have a built-in listener base with FCC Free Radio, and they're gonna get some exposure from it.
Yeah, that's true.
So don't feel bad. Get that out of there. Like where most artistic people have a problem is promoting their stuff. Yeah, because they feel like cheap and salesy and stuff like that.
Right.
But
no, I'm a prostitute. I'll fucking do that. I don't care.
All right.
Kidding, but no. I mean, but for me, this is also kind of like it's kind of like a marketing project too. It's I mean, I've only been doing it since April.
Yeah.
And 25 episodes in, and so yeah, I feel like I think it's growing to it's more than what I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I'm actually kind of, and it's just, for me, it's still a learning curve. But and for me, it'll probably always be learning curve. It doesn't matter what anybody says, how good it is or how bad it is, whatever.
I say that's good. Like, you want to keep on learning stuff as you're going along and building on that. You don't want to just sit there do the same show. Like, okay, we're back on bourbon break. Shit, gotta talk to some schmuck again.
Yeah, right.
No, if it gets like that, quit, please, for your own self. Yeah, you should definitely continue on a learning curve. Start a new learning curve if you finish one of them. You know. But you said it's more than you thought it would be or hoped that it would be. What were you expecting out of it when you got your show?
I didn't expect the amount of listenership so quickly. I didn't know that it was. I still don't know who my audience is. You know what I mean? It's just like I see the numbers and I don't know where they're coming from. You know, you know what I mean? And I think it's great, and I love that people are regularly listening to it. But it's still, I have I don't have any social media followers or anything like that, and because I haven't necessarily played that particular game. So, I haven't, it's basically, I haven't pimped myself out enough on social media to have a following. Yeah. And,
pimp yourself right now.
You can catch me at the Bourbon Break Everything. That's on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And then the Bourbon Break on FCCFreeRadio.com.
All right, there you go. Start the pimping right now.
So I'm pimping.
Keep your pimp hand strong, my friend.
I will take all the ones.
all right.
All the ones. All the dead presidents and Ben Franklin.
But yeah, that's the thing, man. Building a social media following isn't easy. I've been trying to work on that for a while. On Instagram, Facebook, and all that stuff, and it's a battle. It's a battle.
Right.
But like, you've been doing this since April.
Yeah.
Right. How long have you been doing stand up?
I've done it on and off. I don't even think I could even consider myself a comedian, as far as the amount of time that I'm not doing it, I would be like basically doing a disservice to actual comedians to actually say that I'm a comedian.
I feel the same way, man.
Basically what I do is I dabble every now and then. It's just kind of like I'll probably do some stand up maybe every 5 months or so.
Okay.
I just, I put myself into a little hole to create something. I create something that I think is halfway decent. I perform it and then I throw it away. But I throw it away because I usually walk away feeling like, oh my God, that's done. Let's go.
It's all good, man. It's all good. At least you're getting up there on stage and doing it even once in a while.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of the stage. I'm just not.
So you don't get like a buzz when you get off the stage?
No, I hate the stage, man. I hate the stage. I hate it. Man. You like the stage?
I actually do. I can't call myself a comic right now because it's been quite a while since I've been on stage. But I agree with that mentality. Like, just because you do an open mic night doesn't make you a stand-up comic.
Right.
You may dabble in comedy, but the true comics are out there doing paid gigs, road gigs, and stuff like that. So out of respect to other comics, I don't call myself a comedian right now. So maybe in the future. Maybe in the future. But right now I've been focusing on this podcast. So, But
how you feeling about it?
What's that?
How you feeling about your podcast right now?
I like my podcast, man. I get to talk to a lot of cool people.
Yeah, totally.
So a lot of it, and I think a lot of it's cool, like networking as well. Getting to meet some people. I've met a lot of stand-up comics. I've met a lot of actors doing this as well, and some voice actors as well, because that's where I kind of want to get going. But where do you want your radio show to take you?
I mean, if it reaches the masses, that would be absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
If I could turn that into my full-time situation,
I hear
that would be great. Because I mean, it's actually, because all it is for me basically is a labor of love at this particular point. I feel like every Wednesday, all I'm doing is I'm just going into an art class, painting something, and going home. You know what I mean? That's basically what I do every Wednesday. I just go into a class, I paint, I go. You know what I mean? But it's because for me, artistic outlet, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And you need that, like, especially like if you have a job that's not quite what you want to do necessarily, that's not fulfilling artistically or creatively to you.
Right. And I love my job. Don't get me wrong. I love my job, but it's like it's not a creative side, and so for me, I just needed something to release that. I don't know what the hell is going on in that brain of mine, but it's a very interesting place. And
and like if it's like mine, most people don't want to go there.
Yeah, I mean, if you go in there, you're going to have an amazing time.
Okay, maybe. I don't know. It'd either be scary or like an amusement park. I don't know.
There's wings. Sections.
This is the haunted house section of my brain.
Yeah, exactly.
This is the carnival. This is the comedy show.
Exactly. I highly recommend the Boom Boom Room.
Ray's Boom Boom Room.
I don't know. Is it temporal?
What's that?
Is it temporal?
I don't know where that'd be. I don't know. Frontal lobe, cerebral cortex,
something like that.
I'm not a brain scientist.
I am not.
I don't even pretend to be.
Yeah, exactly. I am faux smart.
I know I have a brain and it does stuff.
I got you.
But yeah, so all right, being that you've been doing your radio show for 6 months now, roughly, what advice would you have for somebody who's looking to get started out in radio? Or since you dabble in comedy, you can throw some comedy advice out there too if you want.
To just fucking do it. It's just because the thing about it is, like, once you just do it, the act of actually doing it, once you're done, you're gonna be like, why the fuck didn't I do it earlier?
Yeah.
So it's I just say it's never don't get in your way of like that first episode, those 2 episodes that first time up there. You're gonna fucking suck. It's gonna happen. You ain't shit. It's just you know what I mean? It's just you have to fall a lot. You can't don't rely on your friends to listen.
Definitely.
Don't basically just do that shit from the heart and just do it.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Have you gone back and listened to your first episode?
Hell no.
No, like
hell no, man. I can't. It's like, even I've talked to my artist friends about that shit or whatever. As far as like when after they finish their movie or after they painted something or after they recorded it, and it's just like how many times can you listen to it or look at it, and they're just like, none. I hate that bitch. I hate that bitch with a passion. And that's how I feel about I love what I put into my show, whatever. But it's just sometimes when you just. I don't know. I'm not saying like I'm some arty artist or like that.
arty artist.
But maybe I just don't like listening to myself all the fucking time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you do get kind of used to hearing yourself. Like when I was doing radio, I'd pre-record my show and then be out driving around, and then like I'd hear it on, or there's like 2 radio stations I'd flip between. One of them was the one I was on, not just to hear myself, but I'd get used to it, not even necessarily think about myself. But then like, going back into podcasting and going back and listening to your first episode, I had to go back and listen to my first episode because on my 100th episode, I was interviewing my guest from the first show, and I wanted to kind of recap what we talked about, and it was kind of difficult. I'm not gonna lie to you. To listen
hard
to the first one.
Yeah,
going back that far, it's like, oh man,
it's painful.
It was a little bit because I cut him off there. I stopped him from talking there. I asked a stupid question there. I said,
"You're killing yourself, bro." That's why I was just like, "I hate that bitch. I ain't going to revisit her again."
Occasionally I'll listen in.
You say
like,
what?
Occasionally I'll listen to a podcast that I just put out for like QC, kind of try to listen as a listener and not myself. Kind of to see like, is this something I would want to listen to? Just QC check. you know, and be like, okay, I still see things I don't like and try to fix those later on down the road.
Yeah.
Because, you'll be your harshest critic.
Yeah.
And that's kind of helpful sometimes.
No, definitely. It's just like whatever your I feel like whatever my listener hears, I hear like 9 million other things behind that.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
It's just, and I think that comes from liking what you do too. It's like if you didn't give a fuck about it, you wouldn't feel that way. So I feel like that's a good. I feel like that may be a good indicator of what the fuck I'm doing. It's just like, oh well, the fact that I actually care about what the fuck I'm putting out there, and we're also talking about this is a show that's 2 hours live, no edits.
Yeah.
And so it's basically trying to pull. I'm pulling a show together for 2 hours every week. And once it's out there, it's out there.
Yeah.
You can't do anything about it.
Definitely, man. Definitely. It can be rough, but it's a good thing to do. Like when I start to think and critique myself in the beginning, go back and try to listen. If I went back and listened to those episodes, there's a quote from, I think it was Elon Musk that said this. You can, listeners, you can correct me if I'm wrong. If it's somebody else, I apologize. But it's like, if you're not embarrassed by the first product you put out, you waited too long.
You what too long?
You waited too long.
Yeah.
So, if you're completely happy with the product that you put out, from the get-go, you, waited way too long to put it out.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can see that.
So, it's like, you got to go work out the kinks, get going. And
oh, definitely.
And the thing to that is, the longer you wait, you're still going to suck when you start.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. You're still going to suck.
It doesn't matter how long you wait.
You just suck less every day.
Yeah, you suck a little bit less every time you do something. It's the 10,000 hours, the Malcolm Gladwell effect. You all know it.
Right.
I've talked about it a little bit on my show before. But you mentioned earlier that you haven't really been hitting up the social media and pimping yourself. But are you doing anything to promote yourself right now?
Basically through channels basically I'm still doing it through channels of Facebook, trying to figure it out through the hashtags and links and things like that or whatever. So I'm using every social media platform, but basically also trying to hit every target that I can that's in relation to whatever topic that it is that I'm doing for that particular episode.
Okay.
All right. So I just basically, so whatever the themes are for that particular, or whatever subjects, I basically attach everything to that. The game.
Okay, throwing out hashtags, trying to figure out which ones work and all that stuff.
Exactly. Exactly.
And doing
you usually can get a following based on that.
Yeah. I'm trying to get the correct hashtags and kind of build my own as I go. Hopefully, people start using hashtag live uncontained, hashtag uncontained, and all that good shit. So you guys can start tweeting and Instagramming and using those, and I'll reply to you if you use that hashtag. There, that was my own little shameless self-promotion. I apologize.
No. I mean, it always comes down to the same thing. You need a 23-year-old that can actually handle this shit.
I know, right? It is a lot to do, when you're doing your own show, recording, editing, posting, promoting, and all that. It'd be easier to have a team, but, when you're starting out, you can't always have a team. You guys got to push through it.
Right.
So, fuck it. Size don't matter.
Right. Get yourself an intern, bro.
If somebody's tuning in now, they're thinking I'm talking about something completely different. But
Right.
All right. So, what would be a highlight or two that you've had with your radio show over the last 6 months that you care to share with the Uncontained audience?
I mean, even though I never want to revisit that first episode, it's still probably the highlight. I mean, it's my mom.
Okay.
And so it's I have this piece of us forever. You know what I mean? So that's probably my high point. I can always revisit that, and then I'm gonna have her on for my 25th.
Nice.
So that's next week, and she gives some good game, man. She's
Right on. So like, what can somebody expect when you're talking to your mom on the show?
Well, that's the thing. Me and my mom have a very interesting relationship. We talk like this. Exactly. There's nothing off limits. We're very candid with each other. And she's super funny. She's the funniest person I know. So I'm having her on this coming. So I'm sure that'll be another moment that I'll definitely appreciate forever.
Right on. Okay, I'll throw this out. Besides your mom, because obviously that's special to you, having her on the show. Yeah. What is? And I'm not fishing for compliments here.
It's all good.
Who is the guest that you're most proud of having on the show? So what I'm saying, if it's not me, don't worry about it.
No. It's all good.
You better say me, damn it.
Wow, that's a hard one because they've all been amazing. I think, I can't even tell you because every guest has been like equally good. Okay. I can't even say it. I can't even say every single last one.
They're all like your own little children, right?
It is. I can't distinguish, and it's only 24, man. So
it is a small sampling pool. All right.
But it's just. But I've had the gamut of people in the community, people in mental health, comedians, rappers, good friends, San Francisco natives, Oakland natives. We talk a lot about gentrification on my show. I even have a segment called "This Week in Gentrification," and so. But yeah, I can't say that I'll never be able to distinguish which one, whatever, that I actually love more, but they're all very special to me, bro.
You'll end up getting some that you like more than others. Like, I can't tell you a show that I hated.
Yeah.
Like, there's some that I had to work harder to get what I wanted out of the guest.
Right.
But there's some where, they kind of stand out from others to me just because they're like who I talked to or how well the conversation went.
Yeah.
Or what I got out of the conversation.
Right. And I have to knock on wood with that because I've never had to pull a conversation. It's like it's always happened very naturally and it flowed.
Yeah.
And I think probably, well, I guess the highlight, I think having one of my best friends on, her name's Lulu. And I think you might have heard that episode.
I think I did listen to that episode.
So yeah, and I did like a dedication to Anthony Bourdain.
Yes. I did listen to that one.
Sonically or sound wise, it's not, to me, it's not, it wasn't, I was probably at episode 9 at that particular point. But yeah, that was probably one of my more prouder because I think the way that I had structured it and the conversation that was produced as a result of, me and my best friend had some really good chemistry already, so talking to her was very natural. We talked about, I think that was probably when I introduced the topics of fuckery. And
I think it was.
That was, or maybe that's when I came up with a name for it. And we had a really good time with it. And I think that was probably what the first time it like went totally smooth as far as in the transition, as far as like how we were discussing it. But I also think that there's a pretty much a disadvantage when you have your best friend on because you already know the vibe, so I'm kind of cheating in a sense.
Yeah, that's not cheating, man. It's cool. Like especially when you're first getting started out.
Right.
Having somebody you can talk to is awesome. I started my first couple episodes were with people I knew, people from bands back home that I know, comedians that I've met out here, and stuff like that. So that's who you got to rely on at first. Eventually, you'll be able to expand out and get more guests from guests, and referrals are huge. That's how I've got a few of my guests on the show.
Okay.
I enjoy listening to your show, man. Keep it up. Yes, you do talk about gentrification a lot.
Well, I mean, it's been a part. Well, that's the thing. Gentrification has been a part of my family since we got here in the 30s.
I never heard of gentrification until I moved out here.
Right.
So I had to take a while to figure out what the hell it meant.
Right.
And it's like, okay, is it just like putting nicer stores in places, or is it like what? So I was like, I can see like thing that I think sucks about gentrification is when say there's a taco shop on the corner or something like that, and
Right.
that taco shop gets bought out by a Chipotle or
Right,
something,
right,
and
right.
it's not the same. I enjoy like sampling like different cultures and whatnot. You know, I enjoy like taking in like when I travel somewhere, I don't want to stay at like a sandals resort. I want to stay like, you know,
with the locals, right?
Yeah, with the locals within the area.
Yeah, exactly.
Go out, talk to some locals and stuff like that. I don't want to go like I'm going to Jamaica, but not really.
Right. We're just gonna stay at the sandals.
It's America in Jamaica.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, that's not how I roll.
Which I'm not even front. I actually kind of, I went to Jamaica and it was kind of like, I think I'm staying over here.
Yeah. You know, there's some areas in Jamaica where you don't necessarily want to go. You don't want to necessarily. There's a lot of dirt floors in Jamaica. I didn't sleep on one of those, but
I mean, it's just there's a lot of places in Jamaica that don't look like vacation. It's just that's all I'm saying.
Unless you like goats.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's like there's certain things that are local, and then there's just like, wow, that is poverty.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of sad to see though.
It is very sad to see,
but
on vacation.
Yeah, or anywhere really. Just driving around, seeing that.
Come on, you see it. I live in Oakland. This is you're walking past. I mean, people. I literally am looking at somebody who just put up a 2-bedroom tent, just down the street. So
yeah, man. I don't know. It's crazy.
Good times.
Yeah. Uplifting part of this interview.
Sorry, man. I didn't mean to bring your party down.
No, it's all good.
Woot.
So, like, from listening to that, was it Lala or who was?
Oh, Lala, yeah.
So, listening to that Lala interview, you guys talked a lot about travel.
Talked a lot about what?
Traveling.
Oh, yeah.
You talked a lot about travel. So,
yeah.
Like, you've traveled a lot. Like, what's one of your favorite places that have gone that you went?
I think Thailand is probably still my number one. I went for like my 30th.
Okay.
When I was not working, I went to Thailand during the Great Depression, the Great Recession.
Yeah.
So, so I was turning 30, and I went there for like 3 weeks, and it was probably the cheapest and most amazing time I've had in my life.
Right on, man. Right on.
Yeah.
It's just expensive to get there. It's just expensive to get there.
No, actually, like I would say that whole trip for 3 weeks, including the flight and everything, it was like during that time, it cost me less than $2,000.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Damn, that is cheap. Shit.
It was. I mean, but it was also a recession time. It's like no one had money, so no one was traveling like that.
Right on. So now, with your show, is there a certain feeling or message that you want people to take away and remember?
No, I just want it to be. It's just a feel-good show. I just somebody who basically appreciates the same kind of music and my kind of funny. If you're a muse, great. That's all it pretty much is. I just want you to leave. I just want it to be a feel-good show.
Okay.
That's
all right.
it.
Is there anything that you do in order to make it get that across that it's a feel-good show?
I think it's pretty much the tone, the guests, the musical selections. It's like I'm not playing anything too dark or no. There's like I'm sorry if you're into metal, I ain't got you.
I am, but it's all right.
But I'm into every single genre of music, and I mean, at some particular point, I'm sure metal is going to be included in the show at some particular way.
I almost thought about suggesting that when I came on your show,
yeah?
but I didn't want to like alienate your like listeners.
No. That's the thing. I don't know who my audience is, bro.
That is true. So, like being from Iowa, I wanted a lot of people. Like, what do you think of when you think of Iowa? Honestly,
when I think about
when you think of Iowa, the state.
What do I think of Iowa?
Yeah, like what do you think of?
I can't say that. That would be totally disrespectful of me to speak on a state I've never been to.
No, like I'm just saying, like I wanted to throw something out there that kind of changed like the opinion or like thought necessarily, because I think a lot of people think Iowa is kind of a backward state, like kind of like trailer parks everywhere,
Yeah.
or like farms, nothing but corn. And
Are you
that shit.
Iowa's representative now?
I'm from Iowa.
I know that.
So
I know that.
But
So I'm supposed to change my perception of how Iowa.
no. I don't expect it. But I wanted to throw out like Slipknot, some crazy heavy metal from Iowa.
Oh, gotcha.
So,
Sorry.
I'm not quite going as far as you want. Like,
Yeah.
Iowa is a great place. You should
Right.
visit. You should take care of your. Can I
Yeah.
get another one of these? But not like you should visit or anything like that necessarily.
No,
but like,
no.
and I think I said this on your show. Iowa's like my redheaded stepchild in a way. Like, I can make if somebody else makes fun of them, it's like, fuck you. I can make fun of them all at once, though.
The only
Because
thing
I live there.
No, the only thing my only beef with Iowa is that they have way too many representatives for what their population is. That's the only problem I have with. That's the only problem I have with Iowa.
There's some population.
You look at the amount of space that there is a representation of, and the amount of population, but that population, as far as like Iowa, the Dakotas, and all that kind of stuff, for some reason, I don't know why I relate them all. My bad, bro.
No, it's all good. All the flyover states look the same.
It's no water.
Yeah.
I just feel like once you live near water, you have a totally different perception of life.
Yes. I don't know how the hell we got talking about this. Oh, Slipknot somehow.
Slipknot and metal and Iowa and my perceptions.
Yes. But yeah, we can talk about that some other time.
That's all good.
So your show, you want them to take away that it's a feel-good show.
Yeah.
Some place to go where they can get a good laugh and just escape from their
good
normal
laugh,
9 to
maybe
5.
Hopefully they think it's good music.
Yeah, good music as well. And that changes depending on like your theme for the week. So if you don't like one week, check back the next.
Yeah, I'll admit I'm not for everybody. You know what I mean?
Hey.
So you might not like my tone. You might not like my musical selections. And that's cool. It is. It is what it is. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm making the show that I want to hear.
Right.
I want something funny. I want to hear that particular kind of music, and that's what I give, and it's kind of working. It's kind of working.
That's the beauty of creating your own shit.
I appreciate the response that I've been receiving in such a short amount of time. And I'm just hoping to make I'm just hoping to make more and better. That's all.
Nice, man. Nice. So check out it's Bourbon Break.
Please.
Every Wednesday
from 8 to 10 at FCC Free Radio. You'll see the Bourbon Break at FCC Free Radio.
All right. It's also on like iTunes, and you can find it on Stitcher. Castbox is where I listen to it on.
Yeah.
But you'll search, just so you know, FCC Free Radio and then find the shows that are on the radio station.
And you can also find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at The Bourbon Break, and it's all one word. And you can also find me on the other Instagram, my own, which is Hella Xave, which is also connected to The Bourbon Break. So
awesome, perfect. I didn't even have to ask that question. I was just going there. But you can tell you have your own show. Hell yeah. All right, Xave. First of all, I want to thank you for joining me here on Uncontained today.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, it's been a blast. And
Yeah.
if you ever feel like having me back on your show, I'd be more than happy to come back on.
Oh, fuck yes.
And talk about some topics of fuckery with you.
It's my favorite. It's become my favorite.
Yes. And I do have that one final question for you, though.
Yeah.
And that is the title question of the show.
What?
Xave, how do you live uncontained?
I tell everyone, fuck you. What's next?
We can roll with that. All right, so now all that's left is to sign off the show, man.
Right.
Now, will you do me the honor of signing off the show?
Of course. I am Xave, and I live uncontained.
And that does it for another episode of Uncontained. Thank you to Xave for joining me, and thank you for listening. Make sure you check out his Halloween episode on Halloween if you're listening in time. He is having his mother on the show, and that could get interesting. Some old school Halloween stories, and you never know what moms are going to say on air. I'll just leave it at that. So I want you to have a kick-ass Halloween. Be safe, scare people, and nobody with pacemakers, please. Now, on another note, I do have some cool stickers. If you are interested, get at me through social media. I am going to be doing a giveaway. I know I mentioned it last week. I'm still working on getting things figured out for that. But there will be something cool that may be uncontained swag coming your way. All you'll have to do is write me via social media or email and let me know you want a sticker. I'll hook you up with a sticker. Then you show me where you stick your sticker. And from that, I select my favorite spot out of all of them and hook you up with some uncontained swag. I will be posting about that before too long, and once I get all the details worked out. And just keep your eyes open to social media for that. Until next time, live uncontained.